Hi there, Cosmic Family. My name is Jahliali in this incarnation. I am here today to talk about the energies of this next week from August 25th until August 31st. So, this week, Venus is going to be the axis of the transits because it is going to make several activations with transpersonal energies. We are in this eclipse season weather, therefore you could expect movement, especially in topics related to relationships and resources. The focus is going to be there. Yeah. So let's go with the energies, the transits in order as always. On August 25th, Mercury in Leo moves out from the shadow period. This means that it's going to go through new mathematical degrees. We start to look at new possibilities, creative possibilities, Mercury in Leo, or perhaps, carrying out certain decisions that we have been reviewing during the retrogradation. Anyways, this is about a new mental processes, conversations, or things that we want to start to communicate or decide. And everything that I am mentioning about creative processes is emphasized because Venus enters in Leo that same day. And there is where all the movement is going to be generated. I'm going to explain why in a minute. Venus in this position wants to create, wants to express from the heart, sharing in an authentic way. There could be a lot of focus, in fact, in callings of the heart, talents that we want to share with other people, generating resources from things that really passionate us. Relationships that could inspire us to shine and to do that for others too. The most healthy and evolutionary relationships are linked with those people that can see your potential and can encourage you to do that thing, to express yourself, and obviously impulsing us on others. So this is also about the identity that we could be projecting precisely in our creations. Perhaps it is about making changes and adjusting things in a way that we could feel more genuine with ourselves doing that. And this could apply to relationships, especially with new encounters, being showing ourselves as we are. Venus is going to make very important transits because at the moment that enters in Leo is going to activate. I'm going to explain this, separately, but at the moment that enters in Leo, activates a trine with Saturn retrograde in Aries and Neptune retrograde in Aries, a sextile with Uranus in Gemini, and also an opposition with Pluto retrograde in Aquarius. So we are going to go in order of how they are going to manifest. This is activated the whole week, but they are going to be perfected in different days. This same day, the trine with Saturn is perfected. And of course, it is already active with Neptune, as I said. This is a totally fluid energy. It is like, possibilities are extended, doors are opened, there where we are listening to our soul, there where we know that it is worthy to, do a construction thinking in the long term that we are going to see perhaps with more clarity or more established from 2026, when we are going to have the conjunction between Saturn and Neptune, the definite one, because they are going to stay there in Aries until they finish their transit. So this is the injection of fire to go for that, to take the decisions from this responsibility with ourselves, from the commitment with our path. And with the presence with Neptune, when we talk about creative projects, this could be something that reaches a lot of people, because Neptune is represents the masses, but also could be linked with inspiring others, seeding consciousness through whatever thing you are doing. It is the same if you are artists or scientists. This is about what really lights up our hearts. So on August 26th, Venus is going to perfect the sextile with Uranus in Gemini and the other trine with Neptune. The sextile with Uranus could mean, to carry out an idea that perhaps emerged in these days with, the Sun in Virgo making this square with Uranus. Uranian ideas, they descend unexpectedly. It is that moment that, the light, it is turned on. And this could be also changes that life was already showing us that we need to make. We could talk about things that could generate, a little bit of uncertainty or discomfort of moving out from what we know or perceptions that we already know. But with a sextile, we have the opportunity to take those decisions and seeing how life is accompanying us to do that, how things are flowing because we are generating the movements from this desire, Venus, of growth. And if these changes they imply detachment with something to open up our field to new experiences, it is also a transit that can accompany that to do it in a more fluid way. Right. On August 27th, Venus perfects the opposition with Pluto retrograde in Aquarius. And here I'm going to make a stop because, well, all the transpersonal are already connected between themselves and Saturn, of course. Saturn is participating of that. In this configuration that I mentioned many times, the great sextile, it is called in astrology O minor grand trine. And this means that there are many things that are developing that are exceeding us. This is about acting from the things that we can really do and then letting go of control so life can carry ourselves forward. And life is going to carry ourselves forward in very unexpected ways, but that could be very positive, not only for our individual life, but also for the role, the role that we are occupying in society to do something that can really contribute with others. This exceeds our egos and our incarnations even. So what I'm trying to say is that among all these fluid aspects, this opposition, it is going to be felt because Pluto is Pluto. And this indicates, because this opposition is like closing a configuration that we call in astrology cradle. And that symbolic baby that is growing up with all the fluid aspects in the cradle, so we can sustain that creation, so we can feed it and seeing it growth, we have to integrate a conflictive situation. Whatever thing we feel that is opposing to us or creating this kind of blockage. But we have to understand that what is occurring on the outside, it is not manifesting itself to block our path. Perhaps it is to move forward in a different way. Perhaps we need to detach from something in order to move forward. But it is not to block our advancement. And also it is for us to make an integration of possible unconscious aspects, because that is what Pluto does with us. And if we talk about relationships, this transit is kind of the typical one where it is synchronized with ego battles, power struggle, fights, feeling controlled or wanting to impose ourselves or wanting to control. This means, doesn't only apply to intimate relationships. This could be a dynamic that is developed with other person simply. So this opposition, as Venus in Leo, is very linked with creativity. I mentioned that word several times in this video today. Could be, with the position with Pluto in Aquarius, that is very linked with the media and how, people are sharing their opinion, that we are sharing what we are doing and other people could attack that in a destructive way. So it is about facing fears or not letting ourselves to be intimidated by those situations, in the face of things that we truly want to do from the heart. And also not draining ourselves entering in the battle. Not every opinion that is not an agreement is destructive energy. This means that we could be seeing things that we were overlooking, and that is important also to take in account. But, for the people that are positioned in attacking something from a place where it's not contributing even with themselves, basically they are projecting what they have in their inner side, and well, they will have to deal with their imbalances. The important thing is to focus in what we can contribute, and having this disposition to integrate parts of us that could be activated. I am referring to the fears, the obsessions, not feeling valuable, perhaps, with the presence of Venus, allowing manipulations or trying to manipulate other people, because all of this serves to deepen in what are removing those situations inside of us. If we are not doing that, we cannot recognize with honesty the attachments that could be manifested, or even could be a tendency, to put all the blame on the outside, which is not, assuming responsibility for every imbalanced act of other people, or ceding, our power to those external situations, feeling threatened, or draining ourselves, trying to be right, trying to control things that we cannot control. Could be a painful aspect, yes, in some cases, because tensions with Pluto are implying a symbolic death. But what is just stated with all the fluid aspects that I have mentioned until this point is saying that if we are facing this experience, we could develop this amazing potential of desires of the soul that can truly be materialized in our life. Saturn is also this connection to Earth, the construction. Okay, on August 28, Uranus in Gemini perfects its sextile with Neptune in Aries, retrograde in Aries. As I said, this is something that is part of the minor grand trine. This is part of the next years. But I wanted to mention this because in November of this year, of this 2025, they are going to perfect this transit again. We have moments of perfection, and then they are activated by the mathematical degrees. So they are going to perfect this in the last degree of Taurus, Uranus, and Neptune is going to be in the last degree of Pisces. So we're going to have an integration, a mastery, and could be like the kick, the necessary kick that we needed to inhabit this new form of life and this new form of inhabit our planet. The thing is that when they enter in the new signs in a definite way to, finish their transits there, it is important to have in account that this will imply decisions that are truly aligned with our soul and a detachment from this old order, because it will also open up paths, lines that are apparently new, in which technology is going to be very, very implied, but they are not operating at the service of consciousness raising. So I think this is important to mention. At last, on August 31st, Mercury in Leo is going to perfect the trine with Chiron retrograde in Aries. Last week we had a square with Venus, and also a trine with the Sun in Leo. So this could be an aspect to turn pain into a creative work. Could be sharing our experience with other people to let them know that they are not alone in their painful experiences. Could be approaching projects in which, through collaborating with others, for example, kids, because kids are very linked with the energy of Leo from this place of playfulness and spontaneity. I don't know if I invented that word, could be, but well, contributing with others, we could enable also this healing of our inner child. Or perhaps, recognizing how certain traumatic experiences that we have transited in our childhood could be now a gift to contribute with other people, even if the insecurities or fears are still present. Thank you, everyone. See you in the next video. Ciao, ciao.